Hi guys, it's Blackie. Okay, after much awaited, here is the Ruger Old Army, as we spoke about earlier that I would be doing a review of. First, let's talk about the Ruger and what it is. Strum Ruger came out with this definitely in the 1970s, possibly even a little bit before. Where I became aware of them was in the 70s. It was a Ruger Super Blackhawk frame, fitted with a Whitney type of loading lever. Actually, it's a Beals, but we'll get to that later. With fully modern internals, so it's a coil mainspring, etc. Adjustable rear sights, good triggers, all of the modern amenities put into a percussion revolver. Now, why did Ruger do this? This is not a historic gun at all. There was no historic guns. However, it's been 50 years since he started making these or so. So, yeah, I guess you could call it a historic gun now. They'd probably be making Ruger replicas in, 2022 or something, 200 or something. They're probably making Ruger replicas then. The gun is the last Dragoon, okay? Let me explain that. The Dragoon was the .44 caliber that we're all aware of, the Walker first model, second model, and third model. And that was the horse pistol. That was the war gun. That was the big, powerful .44 caliber that was designed for use in combat, where if you aimed high, you killed the Indian. If you aimed low, you killed the horse. Either one was very effective. And whenever Ruger brought this out, it was kind of loosely meant to look like a Remington. Actually, it looks like a Whitney revolver, and that loading system is definitely right out of a Whitney. But it took the existing production line of the Ruger Super Blackhawk, the frame, they made new cylinders, barrels, like for the .45 Colt, they rifled it for the .44 cap and ball. It had the same grip of the existing Ruger, so you could get better grips and everything else. And it made a modern hunting gun out of this. Now, you can look at it as, the way I prefer to look at it is the last Dragoon. Because the last percussion guns came out in the 1870s. Really they were obsolete by the beginning of the Civil War. And so the heyday of the percussion revolver is from about like 1836 to really about 1870. And the guns didn't go away. They still were serving well up until 1900, depending on who had it. Elmer Key talked about having original cap and balls were available, and those were the guns he was starting out with in the late 1800s. That was the cheaper gun because it wasn't modern cartridge. Yeah, it's that old gun. Like today, you have guys that's got World War II rifles. Well, how come you're not using a modern suit? They still got the old surplus military rifle, where those old percussion guns were surplus at that time. And so, 100 years later, basically, Ruger brought this out to use the percussion system. It was to be a rock solid, full Dragoon. It would hold a heavy charge. This one that I'll show you in a minute, I'm shooting 40 grains of 777 in it. It handles heavier charges. It is a Dragoon, just like the third model, the second model, the first model, and the Walker. The Walker is more powerful due to its higher capacity, but the Ruger can handle larger diameter projectiles, like the Keido Ojama bullet, and that's what we're going to talk about right now. Okay, this is the Keido Ojama hunting bullet. This is 460 diameter, 255 grains. Does 255 grains sound familiar? That's 45 Colt. Does 460 sound familiar? Today there's a 460, which is a souped up 45 Colt. This fits into the Rugers because they take 4.57 round ball, so it's got a chamber dimension sufficient to handle this big one. I cannot fire these in my 1860 Army or my 58 Remington. The diameter is too big. You just got to shave off so much lead because they like 4.54, and these are 4.60, so that's 6 thousandths. That's a lot of shaving, and that's a lot of wear and tear on the loading lever and etc. So I just don't load them in there. But in this is what this is really made for. And this turns this into performance where you can hunt like hog, deer, stuff like that at reasonable ranges. Now whenever I say reasonable, I'm talking about bow hunting, 0 to 25, 30 yards. Yes, I'm sure you can hit something much farther away, but responsibly, you should stay within bow hunting range. And if I'm on a stand of some kind or a blind or whatever, shooting at, especially like here in Alabama, you can shoot over corn or bait. This would be an excellent choice because I could place my bullet cleanly and easily, and this would do the job. So as a hunting gun, I recommend the Rugers. They're hard to find, they're expensive, guys, but they're well worth it. Now this particular one was loaned to me by my good friend Mr. Chris, and it is a stainless steel model. And there is a slight thing with this. The front sight is missing on this gun. This is actually a front sight base, and it should be much taller. And because of that, this gun shoots way high, even at close range. That's fine as long as you know what you're doing. Yeah, I could do some modification, but it's not my gun. So whenever you see me shooting in a minute, I'm going to be aiming way low. Rugers do not necessarily do that. With a proper front sight on it, this will be able to dial in and shoot point of aim. And you could be a very accurate gun at the 25 yards. And you look at a lot of the guns out of the write-ups and stuff for the last 40 years on this gun, and they talk about the accuracy of it, and they're not kidding. Every one I've ever shot has always been very accurate. As long as you do low prep and you do, consistency, it's very accurate. Now, yes, I know somebody's going to ask, I did shoot this with a wet bore, which means I took a patch and bore butter and ran up and down and lubed the barrel before I even started shooting. I wanted that big bullet to have a lubricated bore to go down so it didn't gall and start leading, which would affect accuracy. Okay? What else can I say about the Ruger? They're rock solid. Now, as I said in the stainless steel, do you have to clean it? Absolutely. But you don't have to clean it as immediately as you do with the blued steel guns. This gun, you can afford to take a little bit of time and let it, end of the day you can clean it and not have to clean it the next hour or it's going to rust, you know what I mean? Stainless steel is not rust proof, but it is very rust resistant. And so the gun can easily be, maintained in the field. Again, what Ruger intended, a hunting gun. So, let's shoot this right quick. Okay, I've got it loaded up with keido ojamas, 255 grain bullet. Now these big 460 diameter bullets fit the Ruger Old Army very well, and it doesn't fit my other cap and ball revolvers because of the size. It would just be too much lead to shave off. So I'm using it in this Ruger, and it does just fine. Now, this gun, as I pointed out, does not have a full-size front sight, so it shoots way high. So I'm going to be aiming very low and we'll just catch the target. This is just a preliminary. Don't get upset if I can't hit the board, but hang on. That load shows real promise. Stick the gun in my belt. Here we go. 3 shots. 1, 2, 3. Here was my aiming point. Down here. Because of that high side. But that shows good distribution and starting. That would be a load I could develop on out. Now this was 40 grains of 777. I think playing with it just a little bit, change the wadding just a little bit, we get it on symmetrical. That's showing real good retention. The Rugers are very accurate guns. And if you're looking for a serious hunting black powder handgun, the Ruger's the way to go. Hope this gives you some ideas, guys. Please leave any questions or comments below. And thank you very much for supporting my channel. Till next time, I'm Blackie, wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.